Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, man. Today we have a Houston Rocket video. We're going to go ahead and talk about the trade deadline yesterday, just give some thoughts on it. Rocket Nation, though, if you guys didn't know already, I do have a daily Rockets channel where I post daily Rockets videos. The link's down below if you guys want to check that out. Yesterday, the Houston Rockets only made one move, man, and it was kind of surprising. But at the same time, it was also like not surprising, if that makes any sense. I mean, you kind of thought either Silas, you either thought Stone was going to kind of clear the whole house, or he was going to make like zero moves, maybe one very small move. And that's something I was talking about on the channel for the last couple of days is, we're seeing report after report coming out saying Eric Gordon unlikely to be traded, Christian Wood unlikely to be traded. And it's like, why? It's like, why? Christian Wood, I can understand a little bit more just because of the fact he's on such a good contract. He's 26 years old. What if he were to kind of propel into like a 25-10 type of player? You don't want to miss out on that, I guess. He doesn't really fit up with our future, but neither does Eric Gordon. And Eric Gordon's kind of the other piece of the puzzle where it's, you have a 33-year-old player, 34, if you will, and he's making about $18 million a year for the next year and a half. And you are 15-40, and you have every guard on the planet. You have literally every guard on the planet on your roster, and you decide to keep Eric Gordon in his best year in I don't even know how many years. Best year of his career? I don't know. It's an immediate L to Rafael Stone, but here's the thing. I don't want to see a bunch of comments saying Rafael Stone needs to go. I mean, that's ridiculous. This is the guy who got a first-round draft pick for Russell Westbrook. This is the guy who got a solid package for James Harden, PJ Tucker. I'm not calling it quits with Rafael Stone just because he didn't make moves that I wanted him to make. I do view it as a failure, though. I, fully view this trade deadline as a failure. There's literally a zero reason why Eric Gordon should be on this roster still. And I hate saying it because Eric Gordon is such a G, but like, there is a zero reason. It makes zero sense to have this dude on the roster unless you want to start getting into like veteran leadership. That's really it. That's really the only reason. Is it worth? I would like literally have given up a bag of chips for like just some player, just somebody in return for Eric Gordon. That's how desperate I was. The one trade the Rockets made was Daniel Theis, which that's a nice move. I really like the Daniel Theis trade. I mean, I made a video right when they signed him saying, why the F did we just sign this dude? Why on earth did we just sign Daniel Theis? And, honestly, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. I think what was tough for Rocket fans was we have such high hopes with Şengün. Like, Şengün kind of just appeared out of thin air that we were all kind of hoping that when Daniel Theis was out of the rotation, it would free up more minutes for Alperen Şengün, and that just didn't really happen. But Daniel Theis was nothing but a professional. I loved him in Houston, man. It's just the contract didn't make sense. 4 years for $36 million. And then honestly, just the signing didn't make much sense in my head. I'm like, I just don't. Why would you, if Christian Wood's our starting center and you just drafted Şengün, why the hell do you want Daniel Theis? Maybe on a 1-year deal, maybe that makes more sense, but a 4-year deal? So they get rid of his contract and you bring back Enes Kanter, Enes Freedom, who was immediately waived. And now you have Dennis Schroder. And I think Dennis Schroder is quite honestly going to not get bought out on this Rockets team. And I'll explain why I don't think that's a necessarily horrible thing. I think it's pretty clear right now, the Houston Rockets, I don't think Silas has any care in the world if Eric Gordon is starting. I genuinely, I think you could literally make an argument that Silas would prefer Eric Gordon starting over Jalen Green. I think he would make that argument. And so the thing is, this team, the coaching staff is so stubborn with young players sometimes that as much as I wanted Eric Gordon to get traded away, as much as I wanted DJ Augustine to get traded away, as much as I wanted all these dudes, John Wall, to get traded away, I wanted it to open up more minutes for these younger players. And here's the bottom line. Even if they did that, or even if they didn't, The younger players are not getting as much run as we want them to get. It's literally as simple as that. It sucks, but that's the way it is. I don't believe Steven Silas is the coach of the future one bit. Literally one bit. I don't think so at all. Like, at all. I don't think you can give up 139 points this often and have it be okay. I really don't. Even if you're the worst team in the NBA, even if you just had the second pick in the draft, I don't think you should ever be giving up 140 points like it's an every game type of thing. So Silas isn't going to, if we traded away Eric Gordon, if we traded away DJ Augustine, it's not like Daishen Nix is going to get called up and start getting 25 minutes off the bench like all of us want. That's just not going to happen. What's going to happen is they're going to continue. They would either shorten down the rotation or just find someone like trading for Dennis Schroder to eat up the minutes. So I'm not too worried about the bench lineup right now, because here's the way I see it. If you have to go to a 10-man rotation, this is what you're going to run with. So the bench currently is going to be looking like, dude, I hate this so much sometimes. Garrison Matthews, KJ Martin Jr., Alperen Şengün, Dennis Schroder, and Josh Christopher. Unfortunately, it is looking like Josh Christopher is going to be the odd man out if Dennis Schroder remains a Houston Rocket. It sucks. It literally sucks, but that's the way it goes, I guess. I don't know. Dennis Schroder, I like him on the Houston Rockets, man. I like him. As far as player development goes, player progression, absolutely not. It makes no sense, actually. But if we're playing devil's advocate, the way it would make sense is just a good, veteran mentor. Just a solid mentor. I don't know if he's actually going to get bought out or if he's not going to get bought out. I'm just going to go under the assumption that he's not getting bought out. Schroder can hoop, man. Schroder can definitely hoop. That's the issue, though. Schroder can hoop, man. Schroder can help lead this bench unit to more victories. This is a guy who used to average 20 points per game, 6th man of the year. This is a hooper. This is a scorer. He plays solid defense. Dennis Schroder on the Rockets is not good for us just because of the fact, first off, he's on an expiring contract, so why do you want him to help you win games right now when you're literally trying to tank and he's not going to be a part of the future? That doesn't make any sense. When I say that out loud, I'm hoping that Schroeder's getting bought out because it doesn't make much sense to keep him. I have a lot of worry, though. I do have a lot of worry. Armani Brooks, I'll talk about Armani and DJ. DJ sucks to see go 100% because you knew he was kind of like the mentor for these young Rocket guards because John Wall isn't hit. It's definitely not John Wall. It was DJ Augustine. So definitely sucks to see DJ go. As boring of a basketball player as he is, sucks to see him go. And then you have Armani Brooks, who just this season was honestly a major disappointment. It's like there's no way around it. I would love to wait for him to get out of this terrible stretch, but I understand it. I understand the move. He's very one-dimensional. He can't play defense. He can only shoot the 3-ball. And if the 3-ball isn't falling, he sucks. He sucks. He was getting better at playmaking. He was getting better at passing. So it also sucks to see him go. It's really tough to see him go at the expense of Schroeder. I don't really understand it. And then who's the other guy in the trade? Bruno Fernando? Who fucking cares? I think this Rockets trade deadline was honestly a massive failure. I think it was just a complete catastrophe of a failure. I mean, I just don't, especially if I see Dennis Schroder in a Rockets uniform next game, which, like I said, I don't have an issue with. But if Eric Gordon keeps starting, why? And if Dennis Schroder is going to get 25, 30 minutes off the bench, why? But I need to see how many minutes Josh Christopher plays next game. I need to see it. I'm still worried that we're not going to see as much of Şengün. Should be safe, especially now with Theis gone, just because we need more bigger bodies. I would think the same thing goes for KJ Martin Jr. We just need more bigger bodies, so I think he's safe to at least play 15 minutes a night. But I'm worried about Josh Christopher just because of Eric Gordon and obviously Dennis Schroder now. And I really want to see the future because I want to see Daishen Nix and I want to see Trevelyan Queen and I want to see Usman Garuba. I'm thinking the Rockets, if anything, they probably in the last 2 weeks or so of the season shut down Eric Gordon. If you can still buy out Schroder, maybe you buy him out or you rest him or something. I don't know. But basically what I'm getting at here is, especially even with KPJ and Christian Wood, if there's any sort of minor injury, they're going to get shut down immediately. or not immediately right now, but like in a month or 2 months from now, if there's like a little tweak and there's only like 2 weeks left of the season, just shut them down. And that's when you're going to see Dacian Nix, Trevelyan Queen, KJ Martin, Şengün, Christopher get just as many minutes as they can possibly handle, exactly like last season. So it sucks, dude. It really sucks. But at the same time, I don't know if Rocket fans remember this, but watching our team play in the last like 2 weeks of the season when KJ was going off, like, it was cool, but it also sucked, dude. Like, we were getting just our shit rocked. Like, it was not that fun to watch. I think the idea of watching like all these youngsters play like so many minutes is a lot better of a fantasy than an actual reality. So we'll see what happens, but I would rate the Houston Rockets trade deadline probably as a D. I like that you got rid of Daniel Theis. I don't like who you got back in return. It's not the end of the world, but it resulted in Armani Brooks and DJ Augustin getting cut. So I just don't think the Rockets had a good trade deadline whatsoever, and I just can't understand how you have such a high asking price. Like, just at some point, just Rafael, like, literally just take what you can get. Take what you can get. There's no point in evaluating in this offseason when the guys you're trying to trade are entering their last season. Eric Gordon's about to be 35, making $20 million a year, and you want to evaluate his value? It's looking 100%. It is literally looking 100%. Eric Gordon will remain a Houston Rocket until the end of his contract. And by that point, he might be so far past gone that he might just retire. But yeah, go ahead, drop some grades. I want to hear what you grade the Houston Rockets trade deadline down below in the comment section. Shit, I think I have class here. I've got class in 10 minutes. See you guys later. Hit the like button, hit that sub button.